Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you guys are well, wherever it is that you may be around the world. Oh, sorry, guys. It always happens. It always happens. Always happens. Echoing. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Hope you guys are having a lovely day. I know the World Cup's on. I know it's on. Don't get me wrong. And I just find today's games quite boring. Not gonna lie, I just find today's games just quite boring to watch. Like I watched the Morocco game earlier, and I nearly fell asleep. I started watching the Germany game, and I nearly fell asleep. And then I thought to myself, do you know what? We need to talk Chelsea because there's been quite a lot going on. I know the World Cup's on, and we're all tuned into it, and I get it, but there's quite a bit that's happened at the moment in and around Chelsea. Some news that we need to discuss, get into, see if there's any truth from what we feel behind it. And there's a lot, you know, from Mount to Ronaldo to Leão to Nkunku to Zakarian to Jude Bellingham to there's just a couple of stuff that we need to get into and discuss. And ultimately, I thought, you know what, in between near the end of the Germany game and the beginning of the Spain game, we'll try and fit in a quick show just to go over all the news that is in and around Chelsea at the moment. But I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are all having a blessed day as well. And before we move forward, let's cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you guys are well. And I don't know if it's just you or what, but I kind of miss talking about Chelsea a little bit, man. Not gonna lie, I like talking about our football club. And our football club's not in the most greatest place right now on the back of the losses that we've had, but you know, I just kind of miss talking Chelsea a little bit. You know, I was meant to do a World Cup show, which I'm still thinking of doing, like at the end of each sort of round of games. So from tomorrow with the Brazil game, I was going to do like a reaction show to it, but I don't know, man. I just thought I need to get in a Chelsea show. I need to talk Chelsea. I need to just have discussions with you guys in the chats as well. How you all doing anyway? Let's go through the chat. Big up to Matty K in the house as always. Nice to see him. RD says Mount's 300k for 2 goals, 4 assists in 44 games against top 6. He's not happy with the supposed news in and around Mason Mount. I don't say demanding 300k, but you know, wanting that figure. So we're going to talk about that. Big up to Steve as well. Still watching game only 1-0 Germany. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was watching the Germany game and I was going to leave it till after. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to start. And then I'm sure people will slowly come in as they do after the game if they want to. Big up to Chelsea OG in the house as well. Luca, nice to see you. Hazy, nice to see you. That is boring, mate. Boring game. So boring. Catman, big up to you. Nice to see you. JP's in the house as well. Leo's in the house as well. Devin's also in the house. Stream Element's got bot running. Nice to see you. Would you take Declan Rice? Well, we're going to talk about Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham and all these like players that were supposedly being linked. Obviously, Todd Bowley was watching the England game. You know, he was at he's in Qatar watching the England game against Iran. Probably making notes. Probably assessing different players across each. You know, playing for their countries and trying to understand whether they're actually players that maybe benefit us. You know, in the long run. And yeah, we know that there's areas that need to be strengthened. Henrik, nice to see you. I personally don't understand why we look at Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's perfect alternative because it's so. This is the thing, though, Henrik. It always goes to preferences, and like I agree with the whole thing of like if there's an opportunity to sign a player that maybe won't cost us as much as a Declan Rice, maybe we should look at it. Because when you look at the midfield, we know it's an area that we need to improve. We know that it's not only just one, the midfielder needs to come in. We need multiple defenders. It's not just the one, you know. Shaf, nice to see you. I will wait till Nkunku is wearing and holding the Chelsea shirt for it to be a done deal. I don't blame you for that. I don't blame you for that because we've seen it in the past. We saw it with Mr. Rafinha, where we were told that it was pretty much a done deal via Fabrizio Romano, who confirmed that this was also a done deal and that Chelsea had already, signed him and whatever. And then we got sort of shafted a bit, you know. So it's very hard as a Chelsea fan to really believe everything that we're told. Don't get me wrong, with the Nkunku news, and we're going to talk about it in a bit. Obviously, it's a thing of like it's only just gone from one extreme to another to another. It's never sort of fizzled out or just stopped or or gone downhill a little bit because someone else is interested in him. Like we've not had that with the Nkunku news. It's always been quite solid in terms of what we're hearing and what's happening with him as well. That England-Iran, at least it had 8 goals. Yeah, do you know what? I actually think the England game was easily the better, for me, the best game I've watched so far. And yeah, it wasn't just about the goals. I thought we played quite well in the first half as well. But yeah, we'll have to see. Bigger challenges to come. We should break the bank for Bellingham. He's ridiculously good. But we're going to talk about Bellingham, Luca, as well, because he is a player that Chelsea have got their eyes on, from what we understand, monitoring. However, it's Chelsea are not the only club monitoring Bellingham. We hear him speak about Liverpool in his interview and in his love for Steven Gerrard. Real Madrid also wavering around, interested in the opportunity of signing him as well. So we'll get into that. True Blue in the house. Big up to Wesley. Nice to see you. Catman says, "No, bro, the Saudi game was lit." Actually, yeah, forgot about the Saudi game. Saudi game was better in the second half. I thought Argentina were wasteful. The amount of offsides in the first half was embarrassing, literally embarrassing. But yeah, let's get away from the whole World Cup, because I am thinking of maybe doing something for the World Cup. But at the moment, we are here to talk about Chelsea. And where are we at with Chelsea? What's going on in around our football club at the moment? Have Japan scored? Oh, Jesus. I didn't know that. That is, wow. Wow. Japan 1-1 with Germany is what I'm just reading here now from Claudio. Interesting stuff. Chef says Bellingham is going to be a tough one. Apparently, he's going to do what Haaland did when choosing his next club. I think Man City, Real Madrid are favourites for him. Do you know what? Actually, we'll save Bellingham. We will talk about him, Chef. Yeah, we're going to talk about him later in the show, but I want to save that because it's something we're going to get in a bit later on. Yeah, I heard just scored as well, 1-1. Yeah, not good is all I'm going to say. Not good. Right. Something that was quite funny, which I thought was quite funny that I saw on Twitter was this. Can someone explain to me why the hell he does that run? I see him do it for Chelsea, and he's done it again. Yeah, and he says the reason that he does it is to, and when they asked Rudiger about this run, they said basically the reason he does it is just to like entertain people or like make people laugh or whatever. But why does he do that? I mean, I don't know why he's doing that now. They're 1-1 at this rate, but I just find it very funny. He does never change, mate. He never changed. He's done it for Madrid too. Chelsea is a step too far, is what he thinks as well. Yeah, I hear that. Right, okay. Let's move into Chelsea news. Let's talk about Chelsea. From what we're being told at the moment, there's a lot going on in around it. We know the January market is around the corner in regards to players that could potentially be signed by the football club. However, one that's of recent times that's popped up about half hour ago is Simon Phillips' comments on Leandro Trossard, who he seems to say that remains a real option for Chelsea in January. He also says that talks over a move started last weekend with his agent. Now, do you remember in the last show when we had Ben Jacobs come on? Ben Jacobs made it very clear that there ain't no real full interest from Chelsea in the player. However, what he did say in regards to Leandro Trossard is that the agent himself is trying to find the next big thing for him. So, the next big contract's obviously in great form. He's playing well for Brighton. And he's just kind of just vetting the player out there to as many clubs as possible. Now, I don't blame the agent from doing that. They obviously see an opportunity to make another real big payment, a big payment for not only himself, but for the player. The player's probably looking at it as an opportunity to take a bigger step in his career into a better team, whether it's a top 6 team or even a team abroad that is of a better quality or can win things than what Brighton are doing. And I just don't know with that. I mean, we're going to get to it in a second, but there was also a comment I think from Simon Fitzgibbon that says that Chelsea are looking for a midfield and a winger. Now, if we are looking for a winger, then Trossard falls straight into it perfectly. He is the type of player, when you look at how Graham Potter sets up his system, that would understand what's required. It wouldn't take a lot in terms of bedding time, and it wouldn't take a lot of time out of Potter's for him to understand what he's trying to do. Equally, what will be more important is about how he needs to get the chemistry right. And we already know that when we look at this Chelsea team, and I've said it a number of times, chalk and cheese, complete opposites in many ways. They need to have better chemistries. They need to find players that are connecting, are pathological, that understand each other's runs, etc., etc. Like there needs to be more from from what we have, or for what we bring in. So I think Trossard, Sterling, that could benefit us. That could actually benefit Sterling moving forward as well. Having a player that's so direct like him, drives from the wing, gets in the box, is a threat in front of goal. Having equally two players that can be a threat in the opposition box and actually take their chances could be a good thing for Chelsea moving forward. So Trossard to Chelsea. We'll have to keep an eye out. Whether it could be done in January is a big question, because you look at where Brighton are and what they're doing at the moment. He's obviously an important player for them. If they're going to sell him, they're not just going to sell him for the sake of selling him. They're going to sell him for decent money. Whether or not they're going to do that in January, I don't know. I think they'll maybe look at the summer window for the potential of bringing in replacements for him, because losing him at the moment is a big loss for them. So I don't know. Trossard could be one of the options that Chelsea look at in January, or maybe even summer, as of what we're being told. And look, if the signing of Trossard only just says one thing, that they're backing Graham Potter, that they're going to back Graham Potter in this. Hope so. Trossard, an amazing player, an amazing price, is what Chelsea's saying as well. The amount of people we've taken from Brighton at this rate, Todd will probably buy Brighton. I know it feels like it, especially when you look at what we've done with the board, and how effective we've been over there as well. Are playing fantastic is what apparently is happening at the moment. Interesting stuff. Get me Leão, forget Trossard. He ain't leaving in Jan either. Might as well go for Leão in the summer, is what Catman's saying. He wants Leão. We're going to talk about Leão actually in a bit. Then he is free though at the summer. What is Trossard in his last year of his contract? Interesting stuff. Didn't know that. Can't keep on raiding Brian unless it's for Cancedo, who again is a player that Chelsea may look at for a more important, but a very important position in our team. He could aid that midfield 100%. Big up to Joe in the house. He says Germany are so shit without Özil, is what he feels. Listen, it's weird because they have so much experience on the pitch, but I just feel that with the bigger teams, barring France and England, they've struggled so far. We've got Spain to watch next, and Belgium and Brazil to come along, but I don't know. Isn't it with an option to extend? Yeah, I'm not too sure is the answer to that. I'm not too sure. But there we go. There's the news in and around Trossard, so keep an eye out on that one. Now, more positive news in terms of a player coming to the football club is Christopher Nkunku. And from what we've been told, obviously, Matt Law has confirmed that Chelsea have agreed a deal to sign Christopher Nkunku from Leipzig at the end of the season. Now, there were talks about Nkunku potentially coming to Chelsea in January. I never thought that was possible. I think when you look at what's happened to the player as well in terms of injury, we know he's going to be out for a couple months, and unfortunately, it's quite a serious injury from what we've been told. It was a tear as well. There's a little article here on an update in regards to Nkunku via Simon Phillips, which he brought out, I believe, this morning. And he goes on to say that we've been hearing reports all week of a final agreement between Chelsea and Leipzig for striker Christopher Nkunku to join Chelsea. Now, one of the best Chelsea sources has confirmed that an agreement has been reached. So, again, what I'd say about the Nkunku news is it's one that's built up a lot of steam. I think Japan has scored again. I think Japan has scored again. What the hell is going on? That just took me off my thing. Blimey, no, I didn't expect that. Jesus. Matt Law of the Telegraph reports last night Chelsea have agreed a deal to sign Cristiano Nkunku from Leipzig at the end of the season. There were some doubts casted when he got his injury last week, keeping him out of the last 2 months. There was also doubts whether Chelsea were trying to push the deal through for January, but that is now not going to happen. The transfer will happen in the summer, and there are seemingly no doubts at all that it will happen with just an official announcement from the clubs missing. You might still have to wait for a bit longer for that. So listen, it's not a done deal. There's a pre-agreement in place for Nkunku to Chelsea. Now that may, in theory, behind closed doors, be a done deal. Don't get me wrong, in terms of both clubs agreeing on the player. Yeah, I've just seen that as well. I've just seen that. I ain't watching it. I didn't watch it because I got bored. But that is mad. That's as bad as the Argentina result. That is as bad. They might even get a national day off as well if they beat Germany. Who knows? Going back to Nkunku. I know this is hard because going back to Nkunku. There was never no doubts that it was always going to be a summer signing. Obviously, him getting the injury that he did against France was big. I say big issue, but for me, determines more for the fact that he wouldn't be coming January. I don't see Leipzig letting him go. The fact that he had this injury and it's put him out for a couple of months, I'd rather him recover and then go back to continue playing for Leipzig and build up his fitness again. And then we can get a clear idea of the type of player we're going to get. You know, I hope it's not one of them ones that is a reoccurring injury in terms of the player itself. I hope it's not one where we see that he struggles. Moving forward, because we've seen that, especially for players that have signed for Chelsea as well. So I just hope that Cristiano Nkunku comes back the same player, recovers well from his injury. And when you think about the player himself and how he fits Chelsea, well, you can only have to look at what Graham Potter's trying to do with Chelsea and where he's going with it. And from what we've been told, he wants to play 4 at the back. Even if he wants to play 3 or 4 at the back, doesn't really matter. You know, this player himself is. Have they scored again? No. This player himself is a player that has the versatility to adapt for Chelsea, and the fact that Chelsea have looked at this and gone for him and have jumped the gun in front of some of the bigger clubs across Europe is a good thing from our perspective. However, is he enough? Is he enough for what we need moving forward? No, we know that. We know that we need more in and around what we're trying to achieve or what we're trying to do. But again, it's another step in the right direction. You know, that is what I would say to it. You know, the fact that he comes to Chelsea in the summer, has a full pre-season, hopefully fit, ready to go and firing at the end of that summer. I think it's a good thing for Chelsea moving forward. Todd B definitely raiding Japan next. You know what I mean? We end up signing some other players. Prince says Chelsea need to go in for quality, not quantity, of what we want to compete with the likes of Man City. I agree. Quality in the system that we want to play. So whatever the system is that he has in his mind that he wants to play moving forward, then we need to make sure that we buy the best players that we possibly can to fit that. It doesn't always mean going out into Europe and buying the best players available, which is what we tend to do. It's not just about that. It's also about buying players that fit the system that may not have the name. And when you look at some of the other ones, which we're going to come to in a second, in Zakarian, for example, another player with qualities of creating, dribbling, has the ability to be versatile. Maybe it's a blend of having experience and having some of the young prospects in with that, and then having that longevity in the project that we're trying to do. Quality over quantity, and also we need to find gems and spend less. Yeah, well, that seems to be what we're trying to do, right? And we're going to obviously move from Nkunku news anyway, because we have other stuff that we want to get into. It ain't about quality or quantity. It's about the correct profile to move forwards in the way that we want. Well, that's exactly what I've said. You know, buying players that are quality in the system that we want to play. So, like you said, the profile of players being brought in that fit what we want to try and do moving forward. And now equally, that's the most important thing that we will try to do, 100%. Big up to every single one of you guys. Please make sure you're smashing the likes if you haven't already. I know we haven't got enough likes, so please, if you can hit the thumb as we speak. I know the Japan and Joey game is nearly at an end. For us, and it's nearly on the 90th minute at this point as well. So, yeah, please smash the likes. And let's move on to the next topic, guys. Let's get into no, not next topic actually. Let's quickly just go on to what Ben Jacobs just quickly said here as well to elaborate on what he said. He goes, Christopher Nkunku update. Although Leipzig call a move to Chelsea a transfer rumour, I'm told there is now a broad club agreement in the place of summer 23 worth around 70 million euros. And let's be serious, Nkunku is not worth 70 million euros. I think he's worth a lot more than that when you look at what he's doing or has done. In the last 2 seasons and so at Leipzig. So kind of like what happened with Haaland when obviously Haaland left Dortmund and they got him for cheap, Man City. It's the same sort of thing with Nkunku, just like I said with his injury. I just hope he comes back and he's sharp. Big up to John. Nice to see you, my man, as always. Nice to see you in the house. It's just a quick Chelsea show. I know we got the World Cup on and people are interested in that, but a quick little Chelsea show to touch on some of the news. The team needs an identity that the way that they want to play it and then get the players for it. It'll then rejuvenate the rest of the squad once they can actually play football. And you need to have the right, and I agree with that, but you need to have the right identity of players in the positions as well. And that's how you kind of rejuvenate the squad, because then they see that the system's working, that it's working in and out, we're more consistent, and we start getting results. Something that we're not doing at the moment is that, quality first, not Potter system. Coach may have to go if you people don't know. What? Quality first, no, not Potter system. Coach may come and go if you people don't know. No, coaches do come and go, but I do think that Todd Bowley wants to build a system around Potter. So doing that means that you still bring quality, but you bring quality into the system that he wants, which gives us more consistency. And that's what it is. It's having more consistency in what we want to do moving forward. That is the real key there, guys. That is the real key. All right, moving away from Christopher Nkunku, and let's talk about the news around Zakarian to Chelsea, because again, Ben Jacobs has made it clear that from what he's heard from the last time round, that Zakarian going to Armenia to sort out his visa so they can get across to Chelsea a lot quicker. He doesn't believe it's personally true, but Fabrizio Romano's come out commenting saying Chelsea have agreed personal terms with Zakarian on a long-term contract, and that is sealed since last summer. Negotiations with Dinamo Moscow will continue to complete the deal in 2023. Chelsea is still feeling confident. Now, again, is this a deal that we see happening in January, or is this a deal that we see happening in summer? Now, we seem to be told that it could be something that happens in the January. I don't know, is the answer to that. It's, again, for me, I have no problems bringing in this player, but it's how we utilize him. How do we benefit from him? Does he come straight into the team? Does he play with the first team? Is he going to be slowly bedded in? Whatever, what are we going to do with him? Are we going to do what we've done with Casadei, who's playing very well in the reserves and scored a great goal yesterday? If you hadn't seen it against Peterborough, go and check it out. Or is he going to have the chances like Carney does when he's fit and he's available in the squad and he gets games here and there? Look, we're signing top young prospects. These guys are going to need games. However, you have got players in front of them, and the players in front of them, even though they're not performing to level that we need them to perform, I still feel managers were going to choose them over them for now. However, when they do get their opportunities and they do get put in the team, we want to see that there's they have to take their chance. They have to take their chance. Is it over? Is it over, yeah? Is it finished? Is it finito? Quality first, not Potter system. Yeah, we spoke about that. How are they actually financing this deal with Russian implications? I don't know is the answer to that. That again involves politics. And when obviously Ben Jacobs was here last time, we were talking about them so-called politics that are involved in this deal, unfortunately, due to what's happening with Russia. So again, It's one of them ones where I don't know. Is that what's stalling the idea of our Zakarian coming to Chelsea? Look, there's no denying that he's got a lot of talent. I mean, he's the top highest creator in Europe from any player under the age of 21. Is this young boy? This boy is looking pretty good, but coming to the Premier League and playing in the Premier League are two different things. And bringing him in January is fine, but it's how are you going to use this boy? Does this boy just walk into Chelsea? Does he just play? Is that what we're going to see? That's the real big question of it all. Big up to Chelsea OG, Chelsea fan. Nice to see you to come through. But hit the likes, guys. Over 75 of you guys here. I know that the game's finished off now, so I'm sure people are slowly going to start coming in. Need to see multiple players who can provide individual brilliance at any moment. Two of them. That requires a specific profile, like you said, specific profile player. And that profile player being someone that can take the ball and drive with it. That can create fried dribbling. Now, we do have it in Christian Pulisic, and I don't think Sterling's one of them, but I do agree. Individual brilliance is something that usually comes when you have players that are able to dribble with the ball moving forward. So, that would make sense. That will help the system players. It will do, because we haven't got any players that commit or run with the ball. Let's be serious. We don't. We generally don't. Armenian, are they a neutral? I believe so. 3 minutes ago of the game. Interesting stuff, guys. Interesting stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Zakarian to Chelsea. Whether it happens or not, we'll find out sooner rather than later. Let's talk about Rafael Leão. Now, I know again it's a bit again up in the air, and obviously apparently Milan want him to stay, etc., etc. But again, Simon Phillips believes that sources tell him that Rafael Leão is stuttering on signing a new deal with AC Milan and is having his head turned by Chelsea's interest. So this one could get optimistic, is what he's saying. So Leão may be looking elsewhere. Obviously, the benefit for Leão signing an extension is the same thing as what Christopher Nkunku done. Doesn't specifically mean that he doesn't leave next summer. But at least it allows the football club to hold a bit of value on him rather than just let him go. And that is the real issue that AC Milan have. You know what happened with Chelsea when we let Rudiger go, we let Christensen go, we just let them go, basically. Players that we just let, we're not interested in and we moved all forward. It's the same thing for him. But the thing is with him is, does he want to stay? Does he want to stay at Milan? I'm not too sure. Obviously, it's still very early doors with Leão. If we can get Nkunku, Leão, Zakarian comes in, Sterling's already there. You only then have to look at the midfield, and we're going to talk about the midfield very shortly anyway. But I'm telling you now, our front three, buying Leão, means that we have to free up the forward line. Ziyech goes. Between Havertz and Pulisic, you could see one of them two going easily. Mason Mount's going nowhere, and we're going to be talking about Mason Mount soon as well, providing he signs his contract as well. I think you sign Nkunku, Leão, and then you go and get a midfielder, and then we're being told that Chelsea want a defender and potential goalie. You're looking at a good 200, 300 mil again. I'm not too sure Chelsea are going to do that. And as much as I feel we need forwards, I think they will look at players that they can buy that are not going to cost them an arm and a leg in every position. So Leão was originally, we're being told, over like 120, 130 million euros. Maybe we can get him a bit less if he lets his contract run out. Maybe. Enzo, I watched Enzo. I thought he was good. I also watched Edson Alvarez yesterday as well, and I thought he was pretty impressive. Another player that is interested in coming to Chelsea as well. But in terms of Rafael Leão, could it happen? Who knows? Who knows at this point? All I can say is that I'm not going to take too much of this in. I'm going to take it literally as a pinch of salt. I thought someone scored again. No, they didn't. No. And we go from there, really, guys. We go from there. Leão to Chelsea. We'll see if, again, he signs a contract or an extension of the contract, how much he's valued at, and whether Chelsea are in a position to prioritise someone like Leão rather than looking at wingers, rather than looking at midfielders, rather than looking at defenders, goalkeepers, all these things that we still need to sort. Big up to Joey in the house. He says, everybody in the chat, big up to you, man. Smash the likes, guys. Over 70 of you guys here at the moment. I know the game is finished. I know the game is now finished. 2-1 to Japan. So Germany lose that game. Germany have lost to Japan in that one. Spain have got Costa Rica at 4 p.m. But for the next hour, you're here to talk Chelsea. We're here to talk. I don't know what happened there, but it just cut me off. Can you hear me now? Why does it do that? I hate when it does this. 2 seconds, guys. That should be better. I should be back now. I think I should be back. Yeah. Alvarez, come on, Gem. Are you for real? Well, I don't think he was too bad. I don't think he was too bad. Is it better now, Hazy? I've changed the settings. It should be better now. It should be better now. I don't know why it does this, man. All right, cool. Right, nice. So there we go. Leão, we will see what happens with you. Now, let's go on to Cristiano Ronaldo real quickly, because he has been, from what we had that yesterday on the craziness of Messi losing, Lewandowski missing a penalty, Ronaldo's contract's been terminated for Man United. Where is he going to go? Who's going to look at him? Are Chelsea going to be interested in him? Well, Matt Law seems to think no. He says, as of now, Chelsea have no plans to try and sign Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't expect that to change, but I've learned to never say never. So he's never saying never. He's kind of sitting on the fence a little bit, but he still feels it won't happen. Listen, when it comes to Cristiano Ronaldo to Chelsea, I'll still stick to what I say. I don't see how he suits what we're trying to do or are trying to do at Chelsea. Makes no sense to me. The only sense to it is from a revenue standpoint in terms of money made for owners and whatever, selling shirts, marketing, Cristiano Ronaldo. I get that. However, in terms of what Chelsea are doing and where we're at, people say, well, he's better than Aubameyang. Yeah, he's more clinical. And I think if you create enough for him, he will score goals. But I don't think there is much difference with Aubameyang and Ronaldo coming in. I don't think it completely changed Chelsea. And people go, well, we've got Champions League. If you bring him in, it could work, blah, 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 blah. I get all that. But from my perspective, I don't see that, guys. I don't see how, again, the negatives outweigh the positives. And if Todd Bowley does look at it and could look at it, because now he's a free agent, there is no fee. So you can now look at a wage structure, contract length. It could be that he just wants to play football for the next 6 months until summer and Chelsea give him a 6-month contract and he comes. Maybe. I still don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that makes any sense. However, I still don't think he does that. I still think he looks for a 2-year contract somewhere, gets a decent wage, does his thing. And I don't think that when you look at where Chelsea are at the moment, doing that is the right idea. It makes no sense, Ronaldo coming to Chelsea now. Especially now the fact we've got Christopher Nkunku coming in. We're looking at Rafael Leão. You know, like, what are the benefits of having Ronaldo to Chelsea? There just isn't for me. Havertz is going to lose so much value this World Cup. I mean, from what the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like Germany good whatsoever. Big up to Frosted Smith as well. Frosted Myth, nice to see you in the house. Chelsea Dan, nice to see you. Big up, bro, your brother. Good news. And Nkunku, and so glad we're not getting Ronaldo at Chelsea. Well, hold your thought on that, because it doesn't specifically say that we're not getting him. But we have to see, right? World Cup's here at the moment. January window looming around the corner. I reckon he will find somewhere to play in January. I'm just not too sure if Chelsea will look at. Not too sure if Chelsea will look at Ronaldo. You know, and again, it goes against maybe what Potter wants. If that's not what he wants, from what we're being told, Potter isn't interested. A bit like Thomas Tuchel, persuasion needs to be made from Bowley to Potter to make the decision to bring Cristiano Ronaldo to Chelsea. I don't see that happening. I don't think we are going to do that. Don't want my Ado at this club is what Catman's saying. He must be talking about Havertz because that's what he talks about. Facts, it just proves us that these owners only care about making profit. Well, exactly, and it kind of questions the identity, the project, the what are we trying to do here? Are we here just to try and do what Roman did? Are they here to just get us winning quickly? If so, why the fuck did you get rid of Thomas Tuchel and bring in Graham Potter? That doesn't answer that. The reason that I feel that there's a longevity project is how they sacked Thomas Tuchel and then just brought in Graham Potter. And that tells me that they're going to give him time, and they've already made it clear that if he doesn't get Champions League, they're still going to give him the time to do it. We're already struggling. We need to focus on other targets, need competent midfielders, and we need wingers, we need midfielders. There's a lot. Never forced players on managers when he wanted Ronaldinho. Jose told him no. He got Jose Drogba. Yeah, but he also got Shevchenko, who's one of his mates. And again, he didn't really suit Chelsea. Yeah, there is a couple players that I feel Roman just bought for the sake of it, or the ball just bought for the sake of it, Football is about money. The owners didn't buy the club with calories. Cristiano is a huge commercial boost, and if the owners need him, they'll make it happen. Yeah, but at the same, why I agree they're here to make money, 100%. I think it's understanding the transition and the project of what they want to do, and any business is never makes money overnight. Any new business, and I'm not saying this is new, but it's new to the owners in terms of what they want to do with it. So at the end of the day, revenue and making money and owners, I get all that. They're here to make money, 100%. But doesn't mean that they're going to do that specifically straight away. There has to be a clear philosophy, a clear build, a clear structure. It has to be a structure in place that is sustainable for them to make long-term money. A bit like what Man City are doing at the moment, and they're winning and winning and winning and winning. It's the same thing. You think they will sack Potter if he refuses Ronaldo? Nah, no way. No way in hell. Signings we are in for January and the summer that will improve us the most is Nkunku, Bellingham, Rice, and Trossard, Leão, and one defender. But then you look at the players, 70 million, right? This is the thing. And this is where I think we don't get all this, because this is us talking about getting all of the players we want. Nkunku is pretty much there, 70 million euros. Bellingham is going to cost serious dough with a heavy wage. Declan Rice, from what we've been told, could be got for 70 million, which I thought would be the case if we waited out for him. Anyway, still quite a bit of money, but needed. Trossard would probably get cheap. Leão was 120 to 130 million euros originally. So even if you take another 20, 30 off that, you're still going to be spending, I reckon, about 80 to 90 million euros for Leão, minimum. And then you're going to get a defender. And you're going to get a defender who apparently we're looking at, and Ben Jacobs has already said on this show, Gavordia still, who's going to cost you a good 60 mil, 70 mil to bring him in. You do the maths, and that's without us maybe looking at bringing in another goalie if we decide to get rid of Mendy or Kepa or whatever. I don't see Chelsea doing all that, is what I'm saying, I don't see that. I think they'll buy players that they need to buy and spend the money in positions that they prioritise. And then from that, they will buy players, not on bargains, but they'll try and find players that fit the profile, but maybe for the cheaper side of things. And it'll go down to prioritising what the manager wants and what Bowley thinks is the best thing to do moving forward. But we do need wingers. We do need cover for Reece James. We do need midfield. They're talking about defence. Apparently still a priority. They're not even thinking about the forward line at the moment, and that's an issue in itself. Sterling playing the way is for Chelsea's whilst earning 300 per week is making us lose leverage when negotiating extensions, what Josh 96 says. We've already bid 80 million for Leão and Milan rejected. Yeah, but that was on the back of him being valued at about 120, 130 million. I wouldn't give an F if we had to spend another 300 million. That's still, I haven't got a problem with us doing that. I'm just saying I don't think we will do that. That's what I'm saying. I don't think we just go and spend another 300 mil like that. We might do. I might be wrong. Maybe their idea is to just spend quickly to get us where we need to be to allow us to then move forward under this manager and challenge. Maybe they will do that. But signing this man in the picture doesn't really make sense in that. Does that make sense? Depending on how long he wants to stay or be at Chelsea, it doesn't really make any sense to me. Now let's switch on to a player that is currently at Chelsea, and a lot of people are either north and south of him, whether they like him, don't like him. I find it a bit stupid, if you want my honest opinion. Mason Mount. Mason Mount and Chelsea is what we're talking about here. So we're being told that with Mason Mount, Chelsea likely to face having to pay around 300k a week to renew Mason Mount, given what Bellingham and Rice can expect to earn if they do make lucrative moves to Chelsea. Let's just not cut corners here and be honest when we talk about this, right? I think Mason Mount is kind of the face of Chelsea. Not in like when I say that, I don't mean it in terms of like for every fan. I feel that he's a player that is Chelsea through and through, whether people like it or not. I think he's a player that has a lot of ability not in just one specific thing, but can do different things. He's very good at doing a number of different things. Why people get annoyed that he gets picked by managers after managers after managers, even Southgate's playing him in a 4-3-3 system in an 8 role, where I thought he looked pretty good against England, against Iran. Why people don't like to see it is not only because of what Eunice said in terms of the training side of things, but it's also the fact that of what he brings in terms of being able to adapt the versatility in his game. I still think he's an 8. I think he is an 8. However, I do feel that when you look at the chemistry around him and what we currently have in the forward line, it's very hard to see the best of what we want to see in terms of Mason Mount, in terms of a consistent patch. He can do it game in, game out, but he also has his stinky games. The issue is for Chelsea fans at the moment is that I feel that we're so heavily reliant on him having to play really well, because when he don't, it's, get rid of him. He's not good enough. I told you this, that, and the other. Mason Mount himself in his first 2 seasons kind of put himself in the bracket where he become slightly relied on at Chelsea. And I'm not saying that's the bracket of Chelsea. Well, that's why I'm saying to you guys that we need to look at our football club and understand where the club is at overall at the moment. It isn't the same club it was 10 years ago, which was an elite club able to win back-to-back trophies. We're not anywhere near that. We're a team in transition. Mason Mount's a part of that transition, and I don't see Mason Mount leaving Chelsea Football Club anytime soon. And people that want him to leave, you can hold that and want him to leave, and for whatever reasons, if you think he holds us back or whatever, fine. It is what it is. But I'll tell you now, he's not. I don't think he's going anywhere, and it might annoy people that he wants 300k. I don't think he gets that. When you read this comment here from, I'm assuming, Matt Law, because it's telefootball, he says likely to face him having to pay that around. He's only assuming, because his assumption is that because Bellingham and Rice could expect to earn the same, which doesn't mean we're going to sign Bellingham and Rice, by the way. It's just assuming again. He assumes that Chelsea will probably look to give him the same. Now, we already know that Reece James is on 250k a week, which is around 13 million a year. All right. I could clearly see that being the same, maybe a bit less, maybe the same for Mason Mount. I think there will be a negotiation period for him. I don't think he gets 300k a week. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that's happening. But we have to wait and see. Whether people like it or not, I think he's going to be here. I think the board, I think the manager will make it clear that he has to be here and that they want him here. 23 years of age, played over 200 games of football already. Maybe too much football, in my opinion, for a player of that age. But he's not even in his prime yet, and it's just whether or not we're going to see that. And once we start improving the squad, once we start bringing players in that are more consistent, that hold the system and the structure, and we actually see improvements in how we play, then it will be down to Mason Mount to then show Chelsea fans that he can kick on and be better in a system that's functional, that's working, that's it. Until we do that, we're going to have the same issue, because I keep telling you guys, chemistry in the forward line is chalk and cheese. We're so limited It's ridiculous. It really are. So inconsistent and so limited. And that's why Graham Potter's forever changing. And he shouldn't really. He should now just get on with who he's going to pick. And people don't like it, they don't like it. I think he should just pick who he wants to commit to and play his system and try and get them to play in that system to the way that he wants to. Mason Mount's going to be involved in that. It's just how do we fit Mason Mount in that system? That's all it is. So for me, Mason Mount stays at Chelsea. It will then be down to Chelsea be down to Mason Mount as we move forward and we strengthen the squad, which I hope we do, and the system's more consistent and then we've got better players. It'll be down to him to be able to hold his position and be not just that, but also kick on and show us the gears and levels that maybe we haven't seen for a little while. That's when Mason Mount will be, in my opinion, be judged as a footballer at Chelsea. From what he's done up to this point now, I don't think he deserves to really be heavily judged. I think we can criticise him for his performances and how he's played, but we could do the same with all of them. So this isn't just Mason Mount. This is about Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, that's where I stand when it comes to Mason Mount. Guys, make sure we're smashing the likes if you can. As always, over 120 of you here. Big up to every single one of you guys that are currently tuned in. He has leverage. Literally everyone, whoever coaches the guy, loves him. The owners are exactly, and if a player's that bad and 4 different managers are always picking this player, is it that they're just picking a bad player, or is it they're picking a player that brings a lot to what they're trying to do? And that's what I'm trying to say to people. He offers a lot. Whatever it is that managers see in him in what they want to do, they see Mason Mount being a part of it. It's just finding and fitting him in where it ticks. And that ain't going to happen until we improve what we have in front of us in the midfield and around it. But he's one to stay. He ain't one to go. So people need to get this thing out of their head about him going. It's not happening. It's just not happening. That's the way I see it. Big up to Eric Blue. Nice to see you. Trevor Smith. Nice to see you as well, bro. Nice to see you. Yeah. So, he will sign a deal. Whether it's 300k or not, I don't think it is. I think it will probably be anywhere near the regions of what Reece James has agreed with Chelsea, which is around 250,000 with a 13 million a year wage. The only thing you could say with Mason Mount that he does have on his side is that he's always available. The amount of games he's played, he's always available. Always available. I am going to open up the lines very shortly as well. Just quickly going to finish off on a couple of other bits. One is Declan Rice. Apparently West Ham are facing the prospect of losing him for 70 million. Now, that isn't rocket science. Let's just be serious, because he's coming to the end of his, I'd say to the end because they've extended it, but he's lost another year in his contract. They can't hold the value of the player that they wanted last season or the season before. On top of that, you have a player that's now looking at them and saying, I want to go. So by doing that, that already devalues the price for the player. So I've always said Declan Rice will be around 60 to 70 million pounds when Chelsea get him. I think this is true. I think it will be around that. It just depends how Chelsea can negotiate it from there. Whether Chelsea will get the player and not have competition is another thing. Man United might be interested in him. Maybe some others. I'm not too sure. But I do see Declan Rice at Chelsea. And I do think he would fit what we're trying to do. I really do. Never been his massive fan. Not someone that looks at him and goes, he's amazing. He's this, that, and whatever. I see potential in Declan Rice and a player that understands his role. He's getting better in his role, might I say, as well. Because when I watched him a season or two ago, I wasn't sure that I was comfortable with him in that role and his awareness in that role. But from what I've seen of him each and every year is an improvement and understanding what is required from him in that role, the positional sense of it. And you can see it in the England shirt, and you can see it in a consistent basis in the West Ham shirt. And I think when you look at how progressive he is moving forward, I think Declan Rice to Chelsea could and should maybe happen. Could and should maybe happen with that. Big up to Matty K in the house. Todd B, better go get Rice and Jude, or we riot. It won't get both. And that's where we're going to next, because I want to get into that before I open up the lines for you guys. Now, we have this comment here from Simon Phillips that says that Chelsea could look to sign a winger either in January or next summer. Much of their focus will be on strengthening the midfield and defence. Chelsea are interested in both Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice, but are not currently in pole position for either, which makes sense. Again, we're not in a pre-agreement like we have with Nkunku with Leipzig. It's not at that level. People feel that we could get both. I disagree. I think Declan Rice comes in summer if we get him. And if you ask me who do we get between Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice, who are we more likely to get? I will be honest with you and say Declan Rice. That's just my opinion. I don't think Bellingham will turn away the idea of Chelsea. But if Real Madrid knock on the door, if Liverpool knock on the door, I think there's a good opportunity that he may look at them two teams. As with Declan Rice, I think he looks at Chelsea as being the team that maybe he would want to be at or has wanted to be at. I don't know. I don't see both guys. I'll be honest with you. These are two high-profile players are going to demand a certain amount of money. I'm not too sure that Chelsea get that done. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, Bellingham's better than Rice, but this is where we've got to break it down in our heads. What is it that we need more right now? What type of profile player do we need in that midfield? You could argue we need both, but what's more important at this moment in time? I'm going to do I'll do a quick poll on that actually on GNA TV, guys. Guys, make sure you smash in the likes. I know we haven't got enough likes, so please can we smash a like? Who will Chelsea sign first? I'll say who will Chelsea sign? I'll say who Chelsea should sign in midfield. And it ain't both because I don't think we get both. I'll be honest with you. It's either Rice or Bellingham. Who do people think Chelsea will go for first? Ask the community. There we go. I put a poll out. Who will Chelsea sign in midfield? Rice or Bellingham? I want to know what people's thoughts are on that one. We need a DM that is Rice, and I agree with RD. I think he's right. CDM, There's the other thing on that is that we signed Declan Rice. You could get another DM for a cheaper value. I don't know how much Alvarez will be if we look at him, Edson Alvarez. There's also talks about Enzo Fernandez as well, who thinks a decent player. I just think Declan Rice is at the top of that pile. However, I don't think we finished there in that profile. However, saying that, I do think we do need a type Bellingham player, and that's consistent and moves forward. And I think we need both. I just don't think we get both straight away. That would be my real issue with that. To finish off on Bellingham, as we were talking Bellingham as well, is the message we got from Madrid Extra in regards to Jude Bellingham. Matt Law commented on this, saying that Real Madrid and Liverpool are the favourites to sign him. That don't surprise me. So I do think Declan Rice will be the one that Chelsea look at to sign first at the two. And if there's any chance that Real Madrid or Liverpool can't sign Bellingham, I don't think Liverpool are in a potential position in terms of financially doing that, because FSG are looking to sell Liverpool at the moment, which may put them out of the equation. But Real Madrid, if they are fully interested in the player, could happen. Maybe we get both. Who knows? Maybe Chelsea do just commit, get rid of Jorginho, get rid of Kante, and they go Bellingham and Rice come in. You keep Kovacic. You probably have to get another one in another DM if you probably get rid of Zakarian if he doesn't stay, and that could be another Alvarez or a Sangari or Enzo Fernandez or anyone that you want to have. But then it's just, does Chelsea do that? Does Chelsea do all of that in one window? And I don't think they do when they're talking about wingers, forwards, defenders. I think they won't do that. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to see. The lines are now open for you guys to come in and have your say on any of the topics. Ronaldo, Nkunku, Mount, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Zakarian, whoever it is that you want to talk about, come in and have your say. The lines are now open. Matty K, nice to see you. He says we're screaming for a CDM to allow us to go for the back and let people like Mount and Cover shine in number 8. So maybe we could do that. Maybe we could, as long as Cover and Mount stay. I just don't know. And I like Kovacic. I think his all-round game's pretty decent. I just don't know with him in the forward line. We know that he don't score goals. He's not really a creator. He can pass, but I don't think he's the creative type of guy. Is he a player that can do what Bellingham did and arrive in the box and score headers from deep? I don't think so. So I just found Kovacic one of them players that is useful in terms of transition moving forward quickly. But how effective can we be at the other end in them 8 roles? And you only got to look at what Mount and Bellingham did for England and how they played, where they were both very direct, both trying to get in the box, both, linking the play, quick on transitions. I'm not too sure. If Liverpool get Saudi owners and you could go and don't say anything, it is proven that they hate Chelsea, is what we've got sitting here. Cover needs to go to. He's not at his best from nursing that knee injury. He clearly needs surgery. So if he needs surgery, then you need to have players in that can play in that position and cover. Sell Ruben Loftus-Cheek is what we've got here as well. Link is in the chat, guys. Link is in the chat if you want to get in. Link is there. Smash the likes as well. So it's still over 100 of yous here. Nice to have you all in here. I want to see Bellingham's press resistant play easier to that in the Bundesliga. Yeah, question marks over him still in terms of how good he is. I think he's a good player, but the Premier League is completely different in terms of intensity. Yeah, I agree with what Bobby was saying there. Big up to Dills in the house. I'm ill, brother. Hope you have a good stream. Hope, brother, it's coming home, brother. And did you see the youngster Casades goal? Yes, I did. It was an absolute rocket as well. It was an absolute rocket. I'm not going to lie. I am not going to lie. We got it. This is what happens. Yeah, I'm just seeing if there's anything that's come out more in around Chelsea. But like I said, we do know that we need players, man. We need players. I can't show you that Cassaday goal. I would show you it, but it was an absolute missile. Absolute missile. Havertz is getting absolutely trolled on Twitter. As always. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with people like N'Golo Kante, Jorginho. Do they stay? Do they go? Do we get rid of both? Do we keep one? Do we keep one or the other? What are we going to do? Todd Bowley's in Qatar, watching them as well. Top Bins, nice to see you. Says shout out to the under-21s last night. They were cooking. Looks like some excellent future players. Yeah. I hear that. That's just your and some of our fan base's opinion. What he's talking about, I wouldn't pay him 300k either. But the people who pay the wages view him as a key part of the team. I'm assuming you guys are going back and forwards. About Mason Mount. Chelsea Dan's here. What are you saying? Chelsea Dan, you are muted. I can't hear you.
Yeah. Trying to sort my mic out, Jim. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not bad. Flipping. Yeah, Declan Rice looks like it'd be a good option for Chelsea Football Club, mate. I don't think it's a potential that Jude Bellingham might not come to us because it's going to be hard if we do get. But you have seen them both playing on the pitch for England the other day against Iran. They played really well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see us getting both. What are your thoughts on Chelsea signing both Bellingham and Rice? Do you think that can happen?
Money talks, Jim, and we got the money. And thing with money is Todd Bowley brings in the big money and big piece into his dollar account. We don't know.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that Jude Bellingham be worth about 450k a week? More than Mason Mount or Reece James?
I just don't see us absolutely destroying our wage bill, and by bringing in all these top young marquee players and paying them 300k a week, I just don't think works. What we're trying to do. But
yeah, I know what you're saying, bro. I know what you're saying. But Mason Mount, no matter what Mason Mount, right? Yeah, he could be a potential for us, yeah, in the future. But he's had his games have been really poor this season. Last season he was all right. Last season, but I want to be careful because I don't want Johnny Millwall's coming at me, because we know he's a big fan of Mason, and I don't want to like.
Just say what you feel, mate. It's not fine.
Yeah, yeah. I know everyone has their opinion, but I ain't got nothing wrong with Mason Mount. Mason Mount's always been one of my players since he's been Chelsea with thing. I'm not a big fan. I don't have big fans on every single player. I don't. All my players who are playing now, yeah, I'm fans with all of them. But that's only when they come out to Chelsea Football Club. But like my primes is like Didier Drogba. That's who I was a big fan with. Didier Drogba, Frank Lampard, Sen. This team here, yeah, I've got a bit of Mason in him, and I've got a bit of Havertz. I've got a bit of Reece James. Thiago Silva's probably my main man. Thiago Silva, because he's at his age, he's a gentleman. He's so quality. He's in a World Cup.
Yeah.
And but with Mason Mount, I don't think he's worth 300k. I wouldn't think, because I understand if he was scoring like these 25 to 35 goals every season for us,
do you think
then
do you think he deserves to be on the same wage as Reece James, which is at 250k?
Yeah, 250k, yeah, for Reece James.
Yeah, do you think
But Reece James, Reece James, right? He's an injury prone, really, and Mason Mount plays every single game. Right, every game. And where Johnny Millwall's comes back with Mason Mount, yeah, he does try his hard on the pitch, don't get me wrong. Look what he does at England. But this I was talking about on my show last night, right, Jim, right? You see like Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, yeah, playing really bad for Man United, right? And Harry Maguire hasn't had no games in for Man United. But when they play for their international team, you see the difference. The difference of them. Look how class they are. Look how good they are on the pitch when they play for England. But this situation, like Mason Mount, like you say, Jeb, yeah, what you say, if he had better players around Mason, and then that he would be the main man to like create more goals. Because for a minute, our teams ain't really got a style play of football. Potter's not doing nothing with this team, this football club for a minute. Yes, it's just came in. We've got to give him a chance. And the fan base is for a minute. It's ridiculous. They want him out straight away. Why want him out? Why do you want him out? Any day, he's been there for 2 months. It takes time
because people think if you just sack us all the players that we have in the team and replace them all, that will solve everything. But it doesn't. It's about keeping specific players and improving on other areas with players that are more consistent, that have more ability, that are more versatile. But Mason Mount, and I just keep trying to tell people, Mason Mount's going nowhere. So, whether you like him or you don't like him, to criticize him now, which we can on per game, because he has had some poor games, but so have they all. So it's not just him at this point. But at the later stages, when we do improve the squad and we do bring in players that are a lot more consistent and have more ability, and we have a structure and a system when we play and we look better, then it will be down to Mason Mount to be able to make sure that he can hold himself in the team, to make the team better, to make himself look better. And that will be then the question marks around how good Mason Mount is moving forward for me. That doing this now with him doesn't work. At the end of the day, his first 2 seasons at Chelsea were, I thought, pretty decent. He set a bar which isn't really the bar for Chelsea Football Club when you look at where he was 10 years ago, and that just goes to tell you that this club is in a transition, and it still is, I think, now, and we all know this. So at the end of the day, if you're in a transition and you lack certain players and you lack chemistry and you lack consistency, not on Mason Mount but on all the players, with the players that are going to stay, what is it that you expect them to do in these periods of times? And people say, well, they need to do this, that, and the other. But he's not Eden Hazard. He's not that. He shouldn't be the one that we rely on to be that player. He's just not that player for me. He's a player that is, like I said, he can do many things, and I think he has the ability to grow in himself, which is going to be on him again to do that. But until then, there's no point of people. I just think.
Quick question, Jeff. Quick question, right? Before we go to Hazard, a big up to Hazard in here anyway, yeah. Right, with Mason Mount, yeah. Right, if we sack Potter, right, I want to ask these Chelsea fan base here this one quick question, because I said about it on my show last night, right? What manager reckon, yeah, if we sack Potter, who do you reckon would turn Chelsea around as any manager who came into Chelsea Football Club, why are we playing now? I don't see one potential because when I read I read the Twitter thing on Jose Mourinho, yeah, he said into his report on Twitter that Mason, yeah, is a kind of player that he could be like another like Lampard, like back in his day at Chelsea Football Club, because he has more potential to bring into the training ground and on the pitch, right? And his stats have been really good for Chelsea. But Mourinho's really clever in this way, right? He goes, if the team performance ain't playing well, as a tragedy what Potter's trying to do for this club, no other manager could be specialised this, yeah, to make the team better. If you ain't got the strength.
Profiles. Yeah, you need the profiles. You know, every manager needs
Yeah.
specific profile players. I don't think that these full crop of players are manageable in what we try and do. I think they're very limited. I think they're very the opposites in the way they play. I think we have forwards that aren't able to do certain things like dribble, even though I think Pulisic can. I just think he's inconsistent in doing it. I think we lack a lot of things that we have a system and an idea of what we want to do, but the players that we have can't consistently do it for me. And that's the issue. You know, we don't have players that are consistent in their performances and can show us that they can adapt to the system. They can play to this level. They can. So for me, it's that is part of the issue. And some have to go. We already know this. There is some that have to go. And and we already know that there's areas that we need to also improve on. And that's not just the core 11. That's also the depth as well, the actual depth of the squad, which is, again, isn't all going to happen now. And this is why transition is the key word. Rebuild is the key word. The issue is Chelsea fans don't have that. They want that. They want it all again now, and it has to happen now. But they lack the understanding of where the club is and where we are and what we're doing and why we're not at that level that they want. Because their expectations is 10 years ago. We're Chelsea. Up it. We should be here.
Yeah.
But we're not there.
Of course we are.
We're not here.
We're not. No, we're not. We're not.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
No,
So it's just understanding that. When you understand that, it doesn't mean you drop your expectations. You can hold your expectations because that's where you want to be again. Like I want to be, like you want to be, like Hassan wants to be. We all want to be there. But I also understand that we're not there. So it's like when we lose games and players are not working and systems are not achievable and this, that, and we've got the same player since 2017. I can just...
Did you see Ruben Loftus-Cheek's profile, Jem?
Who?
Did you see Ruben Loftus-Cheek's profile on Twitter?
What's he done?
He put a message out saying that to the Chelsea fan base, yeah, they haven't got no training medical fitness staffs at the football club since Roman Abramovich got sanctioned. Yeah, there was over 35 people lost their jobs. All the trainees from the training ground, all the medical, all that. That's why Tobolli had to fly them out to America so they could get their fitness program. So that's what. But he's saying all the players ain't fully fit because there's no physios and no doctors, medicals, and that to help them with their fitness.
I know there's a lot of things that are in the backgrounds off the pitch that are still needing to be sorted. And when people criticise Bowley, criticise Potter, they need to understand that, you know, like we can criticise certain things, but in terms of saying they can do it or they can't do it, we can't do that yet because we don't know. And that's why I keep telling people, we don't know what they're going to do or how they're going to do or even have a judgment on it. You know, to say they're not good enough already makes no sense to me because there's no real back into what you're saying. And on top of that, when you say that they are good enough, that still don't make sense to me because we don't know that yet. And this is why I'm saying judgment on the board, judgment on the manager, on the hierarchy. These are all things we can't do yet. We just have to wait. And then we have that discussion once we see where we go, if there is a clear project, an idea, what we're doing, if we're improving. And the big key thing is improving, not going downhill. Improving. We have to improve. You know, and they're the things that we're going to have to wait till later on. You know, we can't really talk about now. But Hassan, what you saying, bro? This is Hassan talk.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, bro. How you doing? Big up.
Yeah, I've been alright, man. Yeah. This last couple of weeks, man. You know how it is. And Nkunku agreed. The usual Ronaldo talk because of how interested Bowley is, and we've already done a stream on that. So I'm not even gonna bother going into that. It's going to be the same old thing as it is. But yeah, Nkunku getting agreed, I think that's a good signing. I think if we want to rebuild, we're gonna have to rebuild now. We're gonna have to do everything quickly because a lot of these good players that we have, we don't want to do like a United where we keep similar amount of squad, get 1 or 2 in, and like you know what I mean, like take your sweet time rebuilding because you're gonna end up dropping quite fast away from Man City and other teams like that. So yeah, I'm just glad that Potter's getting backed, and I'm sure you have. I think Bowley was at the game. It was so we're watching Bellingham and Rice. So I just got a funny feeling that January, even though we might not sign as many players, I got a feeling it's gonna be a big window where it was kind of like the way Marina did her signings with Kai Havertz, Ziyech during like February, March time. It may not be done by January, but a lot of deals will be done for the summer and for the recruitment of the summer. And
Do you
yes,
think
like you said, we can't really judge these ownerships probably until 18 to 24 months. So about 1.5 to 2 years into the job. I think that'll be a fair assessment. But yeah, it's just
do you
right
think
now.
Hassan, do you think we sign Rice and Bellingham, or do you think it's one or the other, and then we just get someone with a little bit lower, lesser
I think
value?
you know what it is. I think we're definitely going to sign a marquee signing. I think Bellingham
Yeah, I
or
agree.
Ronaldo. I feel like Bellingham or Ronaldo is going to be that marquee signing. I just have a feeling. But I want it to be Bellingham.
You know,
Declan
go
Rice
Man
not a
City.
marquee signing?
We know to go Man City, mate.
No, but honestly, I'd rather take both of them because I want our midfield sorted for the next decade. Because let's be honest, like we've always have a window of opportunity for strikers. There's always going to be
Yeah.
a next big name striker. Look at that Ende kid. He's going to be the next wonder kid. Defense market is here and there. You see, I'm pretty sure the scouts will do their job for that. But I got a feeling Todd Bowley's going to look at the midfield revamp. But what statement would it be to get Bellingham and Rice? It'll be a solid statement to the Premier League and solid statement to the fans.
Do you not think it
that
destroys the wage structure though? Like by doing that, not that we should bother us because we're not paying it, but like, do you not feel that does it? What I'm saying is, does doing that in one window squash the idea of signing a winger or a wing back or a goalie?
I think in terms of FFP wise, we would have to get rid for the summer. We're going to have to get rid of a lot of players. I think if he's going to have to hit the nail in the coffin, he's going to have to get these, say, next 3 to 5 signings correct. Because if he doesn't, then we're screwed for until he sorts out like the revenues, the sponsorships, stuff like what FFP would screw us over. So I think these next 2 windows are going to be crucial on who he signs, and he has to hit it right. He can afford maybe 1 or 2 being a flop, but that's about it. He's going to have to get like at least 8 out of 10 signings right these next couple of windows. And it's a big task. Let's hope the football brains that he is hiring do a good job of it. If he backs out of the January, I don't blame him. If he only signs 1 or 2 players.
How many players do you think we sign in the January window? Do you think it's a case? You see these names. You see these names.
Contract or the actual like
sign like we actually bring in. Do you see us signing any players, or and if so, do you think it's any of the ones that are on this screen right now?
I think there's. I just think it's gonna be 1 signing, probably 2.
What players?
I don't see any of them. Like any of them, if it has to be someone, I got a feeling it's gonna be the new names. Probably 1 or 2 of the new names, and probably Rice. That's it. But even then, like a lot of them signings look like summer signings. So even if we don't, if I had to name one from that list, it'll probably be Rice, because West Ham are looking for asking price, and if we slop it down. But I got a feeling all of them that you're seeing on the list will all be pre-contract agreements for the summer.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, go on, CFCOG, go on, mate.
Yeah, I will say, Rob, the way Casado's playing, if Ecuador do a thing, then surely, you know, because his contract's not running out like Trossard's in the summer, so there's no waiting game with him. They're asking for a ridiculous amount because he's a young talent. Was he 21
Yeah.
or something? But if Ecuador somehow, you know, go to the quarterfinals or even the semis, I doubt it. Yeah, after they smacked up Qatar, and he does well for Brighton, because we've got basically a month of football before January. I could easily see us getting him, Casado, because obviously he's not a Kante role, but as you said before, everyone wants to be a Kante, and he could do some of the things that he does, as well as some of the things that Mikel used to do for us. So I won't be shocked if he comes on and his name's not even on the list.
Yeah, I mean, how many signings do you think OG Chelsea will make in the January window?
We're going to do 2 signings, but all the rumors are going to end up saying Potter wants to sign 3 or 4 players, but only got 2. It'll be one of those markets, but that's still good.
Yeah. What profile players do you think it will be? Do you think it will be midfielders? Do you think it will be wingers? Do you think who do you think we'll get?
The problem with the defense and the wingers is that you can't sign some players, and then when other players come back from injury, they're going to be like, "Yo, I want my position back." And then the player that we just brought in, like if we did bring Kyle Walker-Peters, like it'll be awkward once Reece James is recovered. So we have to we have to get players in that, you know, are taking over a player that's leaving when it comes to summertime. So if you think about who's leaving, it does seem that we have to do a thing about the midfield. And, you know, honestly, the only person that will satisfy me in midfield right now, as is, would be De Jong. And I think that goes for everyone here. No one would say, no, we don't want De Jong. In January, let's just say he's done. He's like, I'm done with Barca. They mocked me. The World Cup's over. You know, Louis van Gaal, I can move now. Because that was part of the reason he couldn't move. He wanted to, you know, be solid for the World Cup. But I think we should break the bank for De Jong, put 100 mil in, try to take him with desperate Barcelona.
Fez, I mean, I don't see De Jong being a player that leaves in for the January window. I think again that's the summer signing. My thing is this: I think we will make a sign in January. I don't think it will be any of the players that are listed there. It may be barring Trossard, but if the agent really forces it down our throat and we just end up paying it, which again I don't think will happen. However, a lot of what is on here, I think, can be pre-agreements for summer, and I think Declan Rice could be one of them. I think Robert Sanchez is another one that, if we're looking for a goalie, could be another. Leão, if he isn't going to sign that contract and he's looking at Chelsea, like we heard, could be another. And then maybe it could be a De Jong, or it could be. I don't think Bellingham. The thing is, right, this is the thing. This is where I'm saying, like, I don't think Bellingham and Rice happens in one window. But then it's like me saying, well, if you know, that I can see Rice and De Jong coming, but De Jong will be exactly, in my opinion, the same sort of value as what Bellingham is anyway. So it'll be like, it'll go against what I'm saying, if that makes sense. Me saying, oh, if we I don't see us getting both midfielders, and I don't really see us getting De Jong and Rice in one window. I think we get a Rice, and then we get a lower profile. I'd say like a lower valued player in midfield, maybe in the position of what Rice does, another DM of some kind, maybe an 8, not too sure, someone that can be a bit box, but not of the nature of a Bellingham or a De Jong. But I would bite your hands off and do it. Don't get me wrong. If we're going to do it, because we know we need to strengthen that area. I'm just not sure with the defence. We're talking about Gavardiol potentially coming to Chelsea, and Chelsea still trying to sort that out. This talks about Leão. This talks about maybe a wing back, a goalie. That is a lot to be done.
A goalie,
you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm
Jem. We got just quickly just jump in. We've got to be careful in January spending, because if we spend so much, PFA will come up top bowling from spending market, because we spent 300 and something million before the new season, like nearly 300 million. So if we went and spent out another 200 and something million in January, right? PFA will want to know about his financial, because we were talking about it last night. Tony Claude, Gunners TV, he was saying about Chelsea could spend in January, get at least about 3 players in, but we were talking about this PFA. If PFA came in, well, I think the FFP, that's it, FFP, not PFA. Sorry. Yeah, if they came in, right, and seen us spend that so much money in January, then we're basically going to break the rules, isn't we? We're going to break the rules.
understand that also means that we've got to flush out a lot of players, and I can see us doing that. Don't get me wrong. I don't think there's a lot of players here that we could all agree that if 70% of this squad left, would we care? I don't think a lot of us would. That sounds stupid, yeah. But we could argue that we could do that. As much as we want to bring all these players in, maybe we do that by getting rid of so many. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how aggressive we're going to be in the summer window. I just don't know if we're going to be that aggressive, But CFC
it just depends on the sponsorships and the incomings as well. Because Boli, there are 3 sponsors going to go as well. So it's depending on how big the sponsors are going to be. They're going to walk in.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go to CFC Cyprus, mate. What do you want to say?
Hey man, hi, hello to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, first of all. And look, man, about this January signing, I think we need to make some signings. I mean, we see a very poor Chelsea side, and it's something that we have to consider looking for, especially in the midfield, because after all this time, seeing N'Golo Kante absent from his position, we have seen a Chelsea side struggling to control the game, because in my view, I believe that the midfield plays a vital role in those 90 minutes on the pitch, because if you have a strong midfield and you have N'Golo Kante, then I can believe that we were unbreachable. But from this moment on, we see that we have some crucial players missing. We have Reece James missing, who has been a very key player to us, and N'Golo Kante, which we've only seen him play against Everton, and that was it. I mean, with Tottenham, he barely played some minutes. It's a pity, and I especially believe that we need to make some signings, especially in the midfield, like a holding midfielder. I agree that we should try going for Declan Rice or Jude Bellingham, but I'd also suggest that we also keep an eye on those players on the World Cup, because some of them might have like a spark in them that can give them a chance to enter the Chelsea team.
Yeah. Look, I don't disagree with the whole, we need to sign players, especially in midfield. I think that will be done. It, again, falls down to Kante, Jorginho. Do they stay? Do they go? Do they both go? If they both go, then we're bringing in midfielders like we are. Ruben
In my view, Jorginho shouldn't be playing. I mean, I don't think he can come up to the pace of the Premier League. He only scores penalties. Don't get me wrong. But all these times, we're seeing Jorginho not being able to control games in midfield. We've only seen him, he's not a complete player for me. For me, if he was a
don't have Carefree Lewis on your back, mate. Don't have Carefree Lewis on your back, because he adores Jorginho, man. Don't do it.
No, you said it right there. He's not a complete player. That's exactly what it is.
He adores a lot of the weird players, Lukaku, Jorginho, Christensen. I can't really listen to his opinions. But anyway, go back to CFC Cyprus.
Yeah, my thing is that we also need, I think, this addition to the offensive part, because I see that Sterling, Aubameyang, Mount, Havertz, Pulisic, Ziyech are struggling a lot when it comes to scoring goals, and we've seen that in the latest games. So, in my view, it was a very great time that we had this international break, because it might help the players come a bit freshen up, and they can bring up some great mentality after the World Cup, because this is a great chance for them to play some games, understand a bit how the squad is going on. And I honestly believe we can also trust the youth, especially Lewis Hall, in my view, because I see some improvement in that lad. I think he just needs to play on a different position, in my view. That's the thing.
I think Lewis Hall's a very good wing-back option from what I've seen, especially without Ben Chilwell. But that only falls down to us actually sticking to the 3 at the back, And again, moving forward, we're being told Potter wants to play 4. We don't play the 4 because we don't have the profile of players to do it to the level that we need to see. If you do that, then I don't know if Lewis Hall's a great left-back option. I prefer to see him in a wing back of a 3. I think you can see he was very comfortable at Man City in that. We saw him in Newcastle. We switched to a back 4, if you remember, later in the game. Just didn't look as comfortable. He just, for me, just didn't look as comfortable in that role. So again, it's what are we trying to do it? Are we sticking to a 3? We're going to a 4? What the fuck are we doing? Same shit as what we've
This is
seen.
a big question as well, to be honest, because we are very unpredictable in our style of play, because at once we play 4 at the back and then at the other ones we play 3 at the back. We need to find a consistent formation, in my view, because all of this is getting very difficult for the players to explain during their playtime on the pitch. And I just hope we get someone in the midfield in need, desperate need in the midfield, like someone who can fill the boots of N'Golo Kante. I know it's not going to be very easy. And, in the place of Jorginho, I was hoping we could find someone who would more like fill the boots of Fabregas. He was a more player that he would hold the line, play some brilliant passes. And, I just have this Fabregas nostalgia hitting me, man, missing those good old passes.
Yeah.
When I was watching 2014-15 season, when we won it with Mourinho, I was, you need to also look at the previous games, see how the teams adapt years by years. And you could see that we had a very different...
Cyprus, do you reckon that Zakarian could be the next Kante?
What?
Dennis Zakarian, who's on loan from Chelsea Football Club, who's a Switzerland guy. Do you reckon could be the next Kante? Yeah, Zakarian. No chance, no?
Look, the thing is that he's not been given many chances, Dennis Zakarian, and I feel like it's a pity for him, because he was brought by a different manager and Graham Potter is not giving him many chances. And I think this plays a role in the mental part of the player.
100%. If you don't give players time, how are you meant to know what they can do? And I know a lot of people go on the back of what he did at Juventus and say, well, it wasn't that great. But we also know that he was very good at Borussia Mönchengladbach when he was there. And that's where he got highly profiled, and big teams were looking at him and going, oh, he's a good player. So he deserves he does deserve more game time. And when you look at what we have in midfield anyway, why can't he get in there? They're not exactly playing.
Exactly, that's the thing. I don't get it as well, to be honest. I just hope we can see him on Switzerland performing and maybe changing Graham Potter's mind.
Well, Todd Bowley is in Qatar watching what we've been told, the England game against Iran, obviously weighing up some of these players, I'm assuming, for moving forward, which will be interesting. Not just players to bring in, but also the players that we have and whether they're worth keeping, I'm assuming as well, because you've got to look at, for example, I know CFCOG's Moroccan, aren't you? I watched Morocco today.
Yes, man. Right? I was watching that game as well, man. You see Ziyech.
Yeah, that's what I said to you. I thought Hakim Ziyech was, again, you can just see that. I don't know. You tell me. You're Moroccan. I mean,
listen, he played better.
I don't see anything, really from him.
But he didn't play to a level where it's like, oh my days, what were we doing keeping him on the bench? It was like, he's playing better. It's like, look, most of our players seem to be getting that. Sterling, Mount, even today, people in the first half were saying, oh, Kai's playing well, he's playing well. I was like, he's not playing well, he's not playing bad. But obviously, at Chelsea, it seems everyone does go down just a little bit. They downtool a little bit. And I said, maybe it's the formation, like you guys were touching on. Maybe the back 3, back 4 affects the whole team. Because, I like to not look at the back 3, back 4 too much. I'm like, how does that affect the attack? How does that affect the attack? But it is all one whole team, it does affect it. But that's why I keep looking at midfield, man.
Midfield is a massive problem. We know that, and the wing backs in the defense, and there's just for me, there's many problems with this team. I don't think some Chelsea fans really deep. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just talking about Chelsea fans overall. But I just feel some Chelsea fans don't really deep where we currently are at the moment and how much we actually do need. They just think, get Ronaldo. We'll change.
They don't know their football knowledge. James. That's why.
It confuses me. And then when you ask him, why do you think Ronaldo changes everything at Chelsea? Because he's, it's his work ethic and he's clinical and, he sets the standards. And I'm just like, do you watch us?
It's not people.
You watch us play, like how we play. One player's not changing.
To be.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I find it very questionable. AJ, what you saying?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Big up.
Big up.
Big up, AJ. Big up, AJ.
Man, first of all, I'm enjoying the break from Chelsea.
Yeah.
It feels good, it really feels good. I love Chelsea, but they've been stressing me out over the past 2 months. So I'm enjoying it. But at the same time, watching the World Cup, you know, we have, like Jem said, we have like multiple problems. So I'm looking at the players that are, you know, we could possibly get to fix those multiple problems. And I'm looking at a right back. I'm looking at a center back. I'm looking at a DM. I'm looking at another midfielder, and I'm looking at a striker. I think those are the positions that we really need to, you know.
You're looking at a whole team.
Yeah, basically, bro. It's
Goalkeeper
looking at
alone.
half the starting lineup. You know, it needs to be rotated out, man. It's stale now. You know, it's really stale in the team. So I'm looking at just who we could possibly, you know, get who could help us. You know, I'm looking for that gem too as well.
AJ, when rivals say, "But you spent 200 million," which we hear a lot when
We
they say,
did.
"Oh,
They're right.
so when they say that and then they refer to Chelsea, what are your thoughts on that? Because they just think, "Oh, you spend 200 million, you should be playing a lot better." Do you agree with that, or do you think we just got it wrong on the signings that we brought in?
Okay, when they say that, at first I say, we're in year 2022, about to be in year 2023. The average player is costing you 40-50 million. You know, that's the average player. Now we're Chelsea. We're a quote unquote top club. We're an elite club. We're going to be spending on the top players. So if the average player is going for 40-50 mil, our average is going to be 60-70 mil. So if we get two players, that's almost already 200 mil. So I'm not really listening to that. And on top of that, over the past few years, we've sold players. We've bought players and we've sold almost the same amount as players as we bought. That's been the strategy over the past 3-4 seasons. So it's not completely balancing it out. We're still coming out, you know, not losing money, but we're not selling as much as we're buying. But it's, you know, it's the numbers is closer than people are making it than people are making it seem. So again, I hear that we did spend a lot of money, especially when Lampard came. We spent like 300 million, and then this summer we spent like another 250 million. So that's a lot of money, you know. But we also sold players. So I mean, that's what I say to them, you know.
290, AJ. 290 million we spent.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
We've won. These people we didn't win nothing. We won stuff. We won.
Yeah, we have won stuff.
Champions League. We won the World Cup. These
True.
little things have paid back the signings as well, not just selling players, isn't it?
But the thing is, this lack of consistency isn't specifically about Chelsea winning trophies. It's the lack of consistency domestically in the league, because we haven't been there, have we? We haven't been able to put up a fight, like, you know, since the Liverpool Man City days have been for the last couple of seasons. Like, we've not been there. We've just not been there. And that's my problem. You know, that's where you look at the consistency of the players that you have, the crop of players you have, and why are we not able to do that? And you can look at managers and say, well, get rid of manager. But it comes to a point where you have to look at what you have deep down 2017 and really understand that maybe what you have isn't it. And that is the truth. Like, people just don't want to hear it. You know, I don't know. Anyway, guys, Spain and who are they playing? Costa Rica are playing as this second has started, kicking off now. I am going to finish it there because I did want to. It's been an hour and a half because I do want to go and watch that as well, see what's happening. I just wanted to just come in and just catch up on the Chelsea news. You know, that was the aim, just to quickly go through what we have seen. There's a lot going on around Chelsea, even though the World Cup is on at the moment. We will continue to do that as always. We will get back to that. But yeah, other than that, guys.
Hey, Jeb, could we pick up Dills for me, because he ain't well? Apparently, last night was on my show. He started coughing, and he had a sore throat, and all his glands are up. And I hope he's feeling much better, because he likes to be on our show. And he wanted to come on yours. Lee wanted to come on yours, but he's got a really bad throat and that. But big ups to him and that. And everyone on the chat, big ups to you guys on the chat, and then Jeb, thanks for letting me join, man. Please smash and hit the like button for James, man, because he's a top legend, top lad, and thanks very much. And OG, big ups to you, bro, and Cyprus and all that lot.
I know a lot of it is hard to talk. It's hard to talk Chelsea now, you know, at the moment, because of what the World Cup's on. A lot of people's minds are not on that at the moment, and I get it, but still, it's always good to. I find it hard not to talk about Chelsea. I'll be honest with you. I like the World Cup, but I'm still always like, what's going on with Chelsea?
Honestly, we should be watching the problems that we're in right now at Chelsea. The World Cup is very important for us, so it's different for us compared to other clubs, you know.
And with the January window looming as well, so close, we'll be doing transfer shows again, which we do quite a lot on here anyway, and try and get updates, see where we're at. There's
and then the weekly Ben Jacobs.
Ben Jacobs, he'll be on at some point, as always, to give us news on that. I like Ben Jacobs, man. He's a good.
Yeah, we need to check on Aspilicueta now, though. Because he's playing for Spain.
Is he? Yeah, let's go and watch Aspilicueta. Come on,
hey, come on, Chelsea.
Oh, and Alonso's playing. Anyway, forget
Aspie might do well, man. But I think Trossard, I want to see Trossard what he's like at Belgium.
Future player.
Yeah, future player, man. Right, anyway, guys, big up to you, man. Thank you very much. Catch you later, guys. Big up. Take care, boys. Bye.